Despite all the links going around and all the ooh, did you hear this? Ooh, did you hear that? Look at this link. Look at this link. Look at this link. All right, everyone. Despite all the hoopla and all the chatter and all the partisan bickering and rancor, it's Purdue week. So I'm going to give the prediction in this video and discuss some other things. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. I am back here with Jim and Bo. Most of you know that I am a Michigan alum, and I am a proud Michigan alum, and I am a proud Michigan football fan. So, despite all the hoopla and the rancor and the partisan bickering, I got that from an SNL political skit. Despite all the links going around and all the ooh, did you hear this? Ooh, did you hear that? Look at this link. Look at this link. Look at this link. Michigan has a game this week. I was actually going to go to the Purdue game. I had intended to go, but Dr. Dunbar is very financially minded, and I can't let the debts and expenses run too far out ahead of me. And so I'm going to watch the game from here in the DMV. Being financially minded is something I was taught at home, but that was also reinforced at the University of Michigan in the Department of Pharmacology. So I'm going to, despite everything that's been happening, the Wolverines have a game this weekend, and then they have a game the next weekend, and then the next weekend after that, and then the next weekend after that. So I will be here to give predictions for those games, and also I will give a post-game reaction to each of those contests. I thought about going live for this prediction, but I decided not to. And before I get to the prediction for the Purdue game, I think I'll talk a little bit about why. All right. As a Michigan football fan and as an alumnus, watching everything unfold, the best thing I can say is that this thing has turned into a bit of a turd flinging match and a bit of a food fight in a middle school cafeteria. And I think you all know who's been throwing the food and who's been flinging the turds. To my Michigan football fans, I said this in a short. My best advice right now is to, hey, try to follow developments for this investigation. Try to follow credible sources and pay attention to the insiders. Everything else, I would say try to tune it out. Turn the volume down. even if it means turning the volume down on people in your circle who you at one point talked regularly with. I have such a group, and the food throwing and the turd flinging got so bad, I had to mute that particular group. There were links being shared all day. What about this? What about that? What if he gets fired? What if Harbaugh gets fired? They should fire Harbaugh. This is an embarrassment. Michigan should get the death penalty. Michigan should get that. Michigan should be disqualified from postseason play. But it wasn't just restricted to this little group I'm talking about. The entire college football world has been talking about that. The death penalty, like the one SMU got for paying players and for all kinds of other unscrupulous things, you guys would recommend that my Michigan Wolverines, my beloved Maize and Blue, our beloved Maize and Blue, get the death penalty for this? Yeah, so a lot of people have become unhinged by this. That's the best way I could say it. Unhinged. Look it up. Unhinged. You all know who I'm talking about. And if I'm talking to you, then it's you too. But a lot of people have become unhinged by this whole thing. It's good when Michigan struggles. It's good when there is a Michigan scandal. A lot of people love it, and a lot of people have been out there eating it up. So enjoy yourselves. But once again, to my Michigan football fans, my fellow alums, those in the Wolverine Nation, there's nothing any of us can do right now except to wait for the investigation to conclude, and also and then to see what comes of it. I was thinking about the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. That's a training I had to take at work. There's the circle of influence, and then there's the circle of concern. The more you focus on concerns and things you have no control over, the smaller your influence is. The more you focus on the things you have control over and the things you can't affect, your influence grows. So I would encourage you to stay away from gaslighting discussions, stay away from people who are just throwing links all over the place, and stay away from people who are intentionally trying to trigger you and shame you and fool with your mental health. Because hearing this bad news, having this whole thing just kind of spring out of nowhere, and then having people pile on and say, look at this link, look at this link. What about this? What about that? Harbaugh should be ashamed. Harbaugh should be fired. Michigan should get the death penalty. Hearing that all the time, all those voices. And it's the era we live in today with the technology and Twitter and the cell phones and the texting. That's the era we live in right now. So you have to kind of try to protect your personal peace. And before I move on, I don't want to make this political, but it almost, in a lot of ways, it feels like some past presidential administrations, specifically the ones who got impeached. But you know, the interesting thing I thought about earlier was that even though those presidents, and I'm not just thinking about the last one, there was another very beloved president from the state of Arkansas. He got impeached. They finished out their presidential terms. And that one from Arkansas, and for a lot of people, he's still very beloved. So my point from all this, life goes on. There are games to be played. No games have been canceled. And focus on what you can focus on and try to avoid the cockroaches and all the chatter. All right. So speaking of which, I think in my short, I stated that also to pay attention to the Michigan insiders, the people who are inside, the people who are talking to sources at Schembechler Hall and who have access to the coaching staff and the players. Pay attention to those people. It's kind of like an airline, a passenger commercial airliner. A flight attendant told me one time, because I used to be very, very afraid of flying, if the flight attendants aren't worried, then you shouldn't worry. So in other words, if the flight attendants are still relaxed, if the plane is up there bumping around 30,000 feet up in the air, if the flight attendants aren't phased, if they're still serving you your snacks and your coffee and your drinks, if they're not worried, you shouldn't be worried. If you see the flight attendants all of a sudden start to run for cover and grab their parachute and grab their gas mask, their oxygen mask, if you see them start to worry, then you should really start to worry. So pay attention to the insiders and don't worry about every single link that comes out. Case in point, which insiders am I talking about? Well, one insider that I met because he came to DC quite a bit is the great John U. Bacon, the official historian of most of Michigan sports, but particularly the Michigan football program. So I follow John on Twitter, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it. And since the food fight started and since all the turds have been flying, I've been looking at John U. Bacon, kind of like an offense on the field, looking to the sidelines for signals. I'm looking at John U. Bacon. Every time someone tries to throw me a link or someone puts something kind of inflammatory out there, I'm looking for what John U. Bacon says and what he's reporting, because he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's the most accurate, not guys in text groups flinging links around. So, for example, one of the recent breaking news stories, one of the recent breaking stories was this one from the Wall Street Journal, which said Michigan rescinded a contract offer that would have made Jim Harbaugh the highest paid coach in the Big Ten in the wake of sign stealing allegations in the football program. All right. John U. Bacon quoted that and said, people involved in the decision tell me this is not accurate. More soon. And these articles are being sent to your phone. They're being sent to my phone. So you can't believe everything you read right off the bat. Where's another one? Let me go to my bookmarks. Where are my bookmarks? Well, I had them a little while ago. Where are my bookmarks? Let me go to my profile. Well, I guess when you do your screen share for Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, the bookmarks function goes away. But I wanted to focus on these two tweets from John. He says, reply, this is a reply to somebody, Michigan's NCAA case. Ultimately, it's irrelevant who first reported U of M to the NCAA or who's leaking now. The messenger doesn't matter much. If Michigan broke rule 11.6.1, they will pay the consequences. That part's simple. And then he wrote, this is very, very important for everybody in the Michigan football fan base. What's not is predicting what the NCAA will do with a rule with no sentencing guidelines. That's only been tested once in 2016. Anyone who says they know how the NCAA will rule, how U of M will respond, or what Harbaugh will do next is lying. Right now, nobody knows anything. So that was on Saturday. Let me read that again. What's not is predicting what the NCAA will do without a rule with no sentencing guidelines. That's only been tested once in 2016. Anyone who says they know how the NCAA will rule, how the University of Michigan will respond, or what Harbaugh will do next is lying. Right now, nobody knows anything. So, once again, everyone, especially from the Michigan football fan base, pay more attention to the insiders, individuals like John U. Bacon. Okay, now the predictions for Saturday's game. This is a short piece. So I am going to read this really, really swiftly. Again, it's a short piece. This is from what's this? Close that. The Wolverine. This is by Anthony Broom. And yeah, so the Michigan Wolverines November Gauntlet of Games gets a soft launch on Saturday night with the Purdue Boilermakers coming to town. And like most weeks this year, Michigan is a massive favorite over a team that on paper appears to be overmatched. According to odds released by FanDuel, Michigan opens this week as a 28.5 point favorite over Purdue, with the over under set at 49 total points. The game will be a rematch of last season's Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis, a 43-22 win for the Wolverines at Lucas Oil Stadium, its second straight conference title game win. I was there. I can say that. According to odds released by FanDuel, Michigan opens this week as a 28.5 point favorite over Purdue with the over under. Okay, I think I might have read that already. Yep, I read that already. Let me move on. Purdue is 2-6 on the season under first year head coach Ryan Walters, formerly the defensive coordinator at Illinois. Its wins this season have come against Virginia Tech and Illinois, with losses to Fresno State, Syracuse, Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio State, and Nebraska. Michigan was on the bye this week after 8 straight games to start the season. The Wolverines are 8-0 on the year and 5-0 in Big Ten play, with the closest game coming in the opener against Rutgers, a 31-7 victory. Since then, Michigan has 4 straight games of at least 45 points, Since then, Michigan has 4 straight games of at least 45 points scored and 3 straight games of at least 49 points. Even with all the noise surrounding the program, they have found ways to stay focused throughout the year. Saturday night's game in Ann Arbor kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and will also be available on the Peacock streaming app. All right, everyone, that's all I've got. So Michigan should win this one handily. They're predicted to win by 30 points. And unless the team is distracted, I don't see why they won't beat Purdue handily. In the Big Ten championship game last year, I was there. It was close early on, and then Michigan gradually pulled away. And with this game being in the big house, I don't see why Michigan won't do something similar or else destroy Purdue even worse than they did in Indianapolis. I kind of do have some more to say about the chatter from the cockroaches surrounding the program and what's going on with the program. One thing that's fascinated me is this whole thing about how Michigan's record over the last 2 years and this year and how much it improved. A lot of people have been using that as an argument for the cheating and the sign stealing. For me personally, that doesn't quite add up. And there are a number of reasons why. I won't get to that now. Maybe I'll do that in a pre-record in between now and Saturday or some other time. But that doesn't quite add up to me in terms of, oh, Michigan, the schedule turned around and it can be attributed to the sign stealing. Not pump your brakes. Not quite. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Michigan should win by 30 on Saturday night. So look for a post-game show. I'll probably do that one live. To the Michigan football fans, my fellow Wolverines, alumni, and program supporters, remember, protect your mental health. Keep your eyes on the insiders, everyone else slinging food and turds and links and trying to shame you and gaslight you. Turn the volume down on those particular individuals if you can. All right. So, you know how this goes. This is Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, and subscribe. If you are a returning sub, Please like and share. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. For the folks who are happy to see this going on, please be respectful with your comments. Please be respectful. Please be adults. All right. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. You can also leave a super thanks. The link for my newsletter is also in the description box, and I will wrap this up. So go blue, full speed ahead, on to Purdue, and then onward afterwards. So go blue. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Focus on what you can focus on. Focus on those things you can control. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.